What's up, everyone? So this week is Sturgis week. Everybody's there. I got serious FOMO, fear of missing out. What I decided to do this week is let's go ahead and do a vlog. A lot of stuff going on this week, especially bike stuff, so I just thought I'd take you along. So let's do a week at Garley's garage.
Sorry bro, but this show's about me.
So, a lot of people have been asking, what's up with that Softail? That Softail's pretty crazy. And then the owner's like, man, am I gonna get any credit on any of these videos? My bike in the back and this and that? No, just kidding. It's a piece of shit old fat boy that nobody cares about, blah, 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 blah. That's a bad boy right there. No, that's a fat boy actually, but that's a bad mofo. This gentleman is first he was a customer and then he became a good friend of mine. His name is Randy Diorio. That is his 2005 Fat Boy. He has blinged it out. If you notice, that thing is from head to toe blinged out. As soon as he got it, he got all the chrome stuff. He did the T-bars, which in 05, 08, 09, that was the style. Chrome swing arm, like the traditional stuff. He put the chrome wheels on. These have been on, man, I don't think he had them on like right in 2005. I think it took a while for him to put these on, but he put chrome billet wheels on with all the matching rotors and pulleys and all of that stuff. I started servicing his bike. We had our customer relationship at my old shop, Tradition Cycles, that I bought for my dad in 08. That's when we became friends. I mean, even his mom made quilts for my daughters. One of the things that we did keep in little treasure chests are those blankets, because they mean a lot to me, because Randy's a really good guy. I don't think his wife likes me, but that's okay. I like her. Nah, just kidding. I think she doesn't like me because I do a lot of stuff on his bike. But anyways, fast forward years and years, the Randy hit me up and he goes, man, I really want to do my motor. I really want to break the bike down and do some stuff. So I was like, hey, let's go ahead and let's do it, you know? He's like, but I thought you just did custom. I said, I do, but for you and for friends and stuff like that, I'll do engine work and suspension and all that stuff. So he brought the bike into me over the winter, so late part of last year. So I tore that thing down to the frame. Check this out. Yep, that's it, all the way to the frame. And so since then, split the cases, did a stroker motor, crank in it from Dark Horse. They did the crank. Ward's Performance did the heads. We did big bore pistons on it. So now that 88 inch became 107. GMR Steve dyno tuned it, and it's like at 115 horsepower, 120 foot-pounds of torque. Cammed it, oil pumps, all of that stuff. We could probably get more out of it if we change the throttle body and the injectors and the air cleaner, but he likes that traditional air cleaner, that kind of low profile one. So it's kind of choking it down a little bit, but hey, this isn't a big performance bike. This is a traveling bike. This bike right here has 80,000 miles on it. Yeah, 80,000 plus. When he brought it to me to rebuild the motor, it had 80,000 miles on it. The license plate says Texas to Alaska. Him and his buddy Matt Bates rode their Softails, not baggers, and you guys are all cool with your baggers. These guys load these bikes down, and I think he's ridden from the Keys. Most people go California to New York. They've gone from the Keys all the way up to Alaska. They've gone from coast to coast. They've done Route 66. They've done, you name it, they've done it. I've even caught them at the Bunny Ranch. Well, I didn't really catch him on the Bunny Ranch, but they did pass through the town, and I did question that. So he's got his own website, dragonboards.com. When I say Dragon Boards, his floorboards, those Performance Machine floorboards are like, you don't want to run your hand in them because that billet of aluminum is all scraped up, screw up your hands. But they have a website, and so he'll tell me, hey, we're going on our trip. So him and Matt will be going, and you can get on their website, and it'll show you where they're going. And Randy and Matt, Randy Moore, these two guys will ride their bike 600 to 1,000 miles a day when they're riding. They'll pull into the town, they'll go straight to the car wash, unload their stuff, wash their bikes, get them all cleaned up, detailed out, put their stuff back on the bike, go to the hotel room, unpack again, sleep, get up in the morning, get breakfast, pack up, and then head out again. So that's why that bike looks the way it does. It is awesome. So yeah, a lot of people are asking me about that. That's kind of just the gist of it. I might go into a bigger detail about, do a video about more of what I did on his bike, but this week what I'm doing is, he had a wheel bearing going out where he had a weird chirping sound going on. I thought maybe it was the pulleys. He says no. Yikes. So he told me that they were still rounded over, and now I'm feeling it and it's not. Let me show you, come check this out. See these? They're supposed to be rounded like the belt. They got flat edges on them now. So what that does is that means this belt is wearing out and it's gonna start cutting into the pulley. Not sure if you can see on the belt, but like there's some flat spots on the sides of the belt. So I can see cracking at the bottom of these little nubs. So I think he's gonna need a new rear pulley and belt. Bummer. But anyways, while we wait for him to return a call and see what he wants to do, I'm gonna go ahead and make a wheel spacer. So off camera, I got a call back from the customer and he wants to replace the pulley. This is a Renegade wheel and they are now made by Hog Halter Inc. So I'll be calling Hog Halter tomorrow to see. It's a 1 1/8 inch belt, 70 tooth, Aspen design, chrome plated. Hopefully they have one on the shelf. You never know. Fingers crossed. I really feel bad. I should have caught this earlier. I didn't. Luckily, he has a bike ride coming up in September. So he's like, take your time, get it done right. So that way I can put a few miles on it and then we can hit the road. So I feel bad because now the primary has to come off. Luckily, I didn't finish doing the fluid change. Primary has to come off so I can swap out the belt. So I'll order a belt tonight and primary gasket stuff that I need to put it back on. Got all the bearings pressed in the front and rear wheel. Got that done. So I'm gonna make him a new wheel spacer. Once I'm done with making the new wheel spacer, I'm gonna run it over to Funky Town Shine, have him go ahead and polish them up. So that way when we put them in, they're gonna look great. That's it for now. We'll see you in the morning. Morning. So I just called this morning. I talked to the fellows at HHI. They said that they're going to try to get me out a pulley as fast as possible, looking like 4 to 6 weeks. They're going to try to get it a little bit faster for me, hopefully around the 4 weeks mark. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and make a wheel spacer for this bike, and that way he has a pretty one because he doesn't like this stick. And when I did the brake caliper on the ride, I had to make spacers, so I made custom ones. He's like, this is like the only cool flowing part of my whole bike. So I told him, well, when we do the wheel bearings, we'll go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and make him a wheel spacer. You're gonna follow along with that today. Let's make a spacer. Cool, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off by machining down just a big old chunk. I think this is like a 2 1/4 solid chunk of aluminum. It does have like where I started to drill it out as a wheel spacer, so that you already see that, but this is just something that I found. What I'm gonna do now, this is the original spacer. I have it set in here. I went ahead and measured that. It's approximately 1 inch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and machine that down from the 2 1/4 down to 1 inch. Probably gonna make it exactly this. And then it's gonna mushroom out to where it's gonna cover the whole opening here. So that way you don't see any seal, you don't see anything like that. And then we're gonna do a nice cone shaped taper to it and get it down to a good size. So that way it sits on the swing arm and it really has a lot of surface area to really be bolted in nice and tight. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's get this started. So it's pretty much the same size, pretty close. It's a little bit bigger, but I'm okay with that. That's not gonna be a big difference, a big deal. The only thing you don't wanna do is on a bearing, you have the outer race, you have the inner race, but you don't want both of those surfaces touching because one's supposed to move and then the other one's supposed to stay stationary. So you gotta at least make sure it's smaller than the outer race when it touches the inner race. Sorry about that, I'm burping like crazy. Let me grab some gloves because it's hot. Now, I don't like wearing gloves when I'm running a mill or a lathe because I'm afraid something could get caught. I had a friend back on a TV show that I was on. He was doing something on the mill and something happened and it grabbed and it wrapped him up, and those things are torquey, and he's got a big old scar. So now I just want to double check to make sure everything's good. So there's a little bit more gap than I would like, so I can still shave off just a little bit off of this end to lower it down into the wheel. What I'm gonna do now is I'm probably gonna go ahead and chuck it up and go ahead and do the 3/4 hole all the way through. So that way I can set an axle in there. And then I will take the actual overall height of this down to this. And then I can see how much room I have to taper. So this one looks like it's gonna be a pretty quick taper. That'll be fun. That's what takes this time. This stuff is pretty easy, pretty straightforward, like it's a spacer, blah, blah, blah. But to get the right look that you're looking for, that's what takes time. So right now, let me do the 3/4 all the way through, and then we will shorten it up. So let's do that. Now what I can do is I can set that in there. Okay. So it's not spinning very well because the outside diameter is touching the bolt. So now what I'm going to do is take some off of this outside diameter. There we go. So now I want to clean up that inside edge. I think the height is going to be good. Actually, let me clean up that edge first and then we can go from there. Yeah, there we go. So now we're going to shorten it down so that it's the same length as this one. So what I will do is go 1.880, just over 3/4 of an inch outside of this. So that's it. So this is the axle spacer I made last time. I kind of want to put a little bit of addition in it, just like this one. So what I'm going to do is set this in here. I'm going to spin it, add a little die cam. This is a marking fluid, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and mark out. First, let me mark this out. This is how wide I want the face of it to be. I don't need a measurement, I just need to be in the ballpark, but what I do is I just go through here so I have a visual reference. And you see that line? So I have that line. I'm gonna try to see if I can do this one as well. On the outside edge, I'll also do this one here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this tooling out right here. So this is the part that sketches everybody out, but it's safe, I promise. Take it slow. Probably doesn't look like much now, but that's the part I hate because it messes up my marks. And there you have it. And there we have it. Yeah, it's great having machines and stuff, but I'll tell you what, like, especially when you're running a lathe, it's the cleanup. The cleanup is what sucks because aluminum goes everywhere. Alrighty, so we're gonna run over to Funky Town Shine and see if he can do a little polish on these wheel spacers for me. I can't leave well enough alone, obviously, so this one has quite a bit of a swoop in it. The other one kind of just looked like a taper. If you really looked at it, you could see an angle, so I went ahead and put more of a slope to it, so now it kind of has more of the same look. So I'm happier with this. Gonna go get them shined up, get back. Hopefully we'll, my wife went to go pick up some parts so we can get this Softail put back together today. I gotta get it put back together. It's just been sitting there so long, and I just want to get it done. So let's go to Funky Town Shine and see if they can knock these out for us. Let's go. Just so you know, you really got to take care of your people. He's gonna go ahead and knock this stuff out, and I'm like, hey, let me go grab your guys some drinks. So we're gonna run over to the store real quick. Funky Town Shine, they get in probably like at 3 or 4 in the morning before the heat hits, and then they bounce by like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I really appreciate Jaime. He said I called him Jane or some stuff like that, but I don't remember that. But anyways, his name is Jaime. He's the owner of Funky Town Shine here in Fort Worth, Texas. I originally met him when I worked at American Iron Horse. So he was the head of the polish department there. He's been doing polishing for years. Now he's got his own business. We're here. Let's go grab some drinks for these guys. Oh, there we go. Everybody likes fruit punch. Everybody likes cool. I think I want some red. Hello.
Oh, get off on mine.
Yes, ma'am. Cool. Thank you. Funky Town Shine, hooking it up. Look at that. You. So excited. That's a Dixon you. You. Is that what Danny Dixon does? You. Anyways, look at that. Bada bling, bitches. Bada bling. Telling you guys, take care of your people. They'll take care of you. So if you're in Fort Worth and you need some polishing done, that's your guy. All right. Let's get back. Hopefully we're back before UPS shows up, and we can get this bike put back together. Let's go. Jacket. I don't think you saw these in the truck very well, but let's go ahead and start tearing this primary apart so we can get that belt ready to get that belt off. My wife is going to go pick up the parts from Drag Specialties, bring them back, and I'm going to try to get this bike put back together for the most part. I got some other stuff that's shipping out here for the compression release valves. His fingers are burning on the thing, on the compression release valves, because I kind of hit them down low. So I got some different ones, and I'm going to make some knobs for them so that they stick up higher, and they're going to be out of Delron. So that'll resist the heat, hopefully, and he'll be able to touch them and they won't be very hot. But I was like, man, he's just being a wuss. But then I touched him, I was like, oh no, those damn things are hot. And especially because you have to push your finger down there, so he's using this pencil, and I'm like, dude, I can't have my boys out there on the streets using pencils and stuff to do something on their bikes, so I gotta fix it. So I'm gonna fix it, you're gonna watch, we're gonna do it, let's go. I always like to make sure I clean out my catch can, my catch tray. Get rid of, there's like little dirt and rocks or something. I think I changed my wife's oil with this the last time or something. I like to make sure it's nice and clean. That way, if anything out of the primary comes out, I'll see it right away, and I won't think, oh, that was just from, you know, from what was in it earlier or whatever. I want to make sure that I know anything coming out of this bike, I can check it out and look at it and make sure there isn't anything that might damage the bike down the road, or like, oh, there's a bolt, or like, oh, there's a tooth off a gear or something, you know, because there are gears in there, or not gears, but teeth and the sprockets and the chain and tensioner pieces and stuff like that. I want to make sure none of that stuff is exposed or comes up in here. So when I drop any kind of oils or fluids, it's a stainless steel pan, and it's real low profile, so it makes it underneath like even the lowest of choppers and stuff like that. It's stainless steel, so it doesn't rust. It's big enough so when you put it in there, when you pull that primary off, all the fluid dumps out and it doesn't like sneak by over there, because some people try to do this and just drain it, and then when you pop it off, all the oil from the front side of the primary drips all over your lift, down the side. This thing is just long enough to to where it catches all the oil. There might be a couple of splashes here or there. The majority of it is going in here. So you go to like a restaurant supply store. That's all it is. So when doing a primary on a Softail, they suck. The reason being is you have to pull the primary off, the inner primary off, you gotta unscrew the bolts that hold the starter on. Harley didn't make it easy at all. Like it's probably the worst thing that I have to do on a Harley is either remove the oil tank off of a Softail or the starter. I mean, they did not make it easy whatsoever to do that. So got everything disconnected. Now I'm gonna move to the other side of the bike and try to see. I link a tool on top of a tool on top of a tool to get in there, and then I use a ball Allen. Hopefully, I did the starter on this one, so I know it's not crazy over torqued or anything like that. Just a little blue Loctite, nice and snug. So should be able to get it off with the ball Allen. I don't recommend using ball Allens to break things loose, but to get in there, that's about all I can do. So I can usually feel if it's gonna snap the ball Allen, and if it is, then I stop and I move stuff out of the way so I can get a straight Allen in there to get that removed. But man, this is like the one part about working on any Harley is inner primary removal, or just starter removal on the Softail, oil tank, or the inner primary, because you have to get in that area and it sucks. Let's get back to it. Whew, this is gonna be, hate it. So got it out, no problem. I did have this bike down to the frame just a few months back, so everything's lubed up, nice and smooth, all the bearings, see, it just slides right on through, in and out. So I just pulled it back just enough, pulled the spacer out, this came out, so the new belt will go in, put the spacer in, slide that bolt, tighten everything up, in the trash this goes, and we'll get the new one coming to ride in just a second. While I'm at it, what I did is I kind of look over everything and make sure everything's good. I'm gonna go ahead and clean out all of the holes because they have the RTV gasket sealant in it. That's for the inner primary bolts. The early models need the RTV, put a little silicone on there, and then when you push it on there, it'll seal everything up. Late model like 07 and later, they're gonna have bolts that have the actual washers and stuff, the little seals and stuff with them already. Hey, parts are here. So this is my family. This is my wife, Renee. My youngest daughter, Kenzie. The next older, Chloe, and then Kaya is the other one. So
I'm almost 13.
I know, we got a birthday coming up in, what, next week?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah? So what'd you guys bring me?
Whatever you ordered, hopefully it's the wrap stuff.
Some pots. Some pots. Yes. Press and release valves. Got the inner primary gasket kit, Cometic, and S&S drive belt. Yeah, buddy. And then got my shipment of M's oil. Cool. So you guys want to say anything to everybody out there in YouTube land?
Hi!
No? Miss YouTube over here? Where are you going? What?
She gets nervous on TV.
So out of all my kids, this is the one that wants to start a YouTube channel and wants to do videos and all that other stuff, and then look at her now. She's on camera. And she's not even on camera. We're just talking to a video camera. Not even like live people. But yet she gets on a cheerleading stage and she goes nuts. So it's crazy. And that's in front of live people.
I also want to have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, but I could see you doing a YouTube channel of anything and everything. Looking at rocks. She's gonna do a YouTube channel about looking at rocks.
No.
You like rocks.
No.
Through one of the bikes?
Getting Diorio stuff. I got my boys to polish out the axle. Look at that. Looks like chrome, huh?
Nice.
Well, thank you for bringing that.
You're welcome. All right, babe.
All right, love you.
Love you. Thanks for letting us say hi.
Love you, kiddo. Tell everybody bye. Bye, kiddo. Love you.
Love you too, Daddy.
You guys have fun. Be good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome that my wife can do that stuff for me sometimes, or sometimes I can go. The freeway just up the road from my shop is 114. Keep going down 114, and then that'll get you into Grapevine, Texas. Grapevine is where the Drag Specialties Parts Unlimited Texas warehouse is located. So these are the ones that you can't take the handle off. They're on there, and it's aluminum. So there's nothing you can do about it. And that's probably why it's getting so hot, is it's aluminum. So what I have here, these ones are from TP, Total Performance. If you're not an old school chopper person, you probably don't even know what Total Performance is. They make a lot of performance parts, and they make Evolution motors. One of my customers has a Rick Fairless bike, and he's got a TP Total Performance engine on that one, and it's like 100 or 120 inch. It's a nice motor, all billet. It's really sweet. But anyways, they make these. The top is threaded. So what I'm gonna do is I have some Delrin coming. So what I'm gonna do is when that comes, I gotta measure this and find out what the thread is on this pitch by a tap. I'll machine it and I'll thread it, and so it'll go on there, and instead of a little short plunger like that, I'm gonna machine one that's a little bit taller so it kind of sticks out. So when we diamond cut the heads, if you're not running those cool little coil packs that sit on top of it, I get these extra fin covers, and then I have them diamond cut as well, and they sit on top. Well, then we needed compression release valves. I'm like, crap, like how are you gonna get to it with the cover on there? Well, what I did is I bolted this back to the head, and I went onto the compression release valve, because it's like a 1/16 drill bit. It's tiny, tiny. So I went from the backside and I drilled through and I made a mark, and then I took this and screwed it down to a piece of wood, and then I kept drilling out until I got it big enough to where this compression release valve, you can get your finger in there and you can hit the little button. I don't know if you can see that. And then you can hit the little button. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it up to where the button sticks out. Instead of being recessed, it's going to stick out, so that way he can touch it easily. But I got it in the black stuff so it'll match with the rest of this black, and so you probably won't even see it sticking out or protruding through the hole. So you like that, protruding? I'm somewhat educated. I couldn't spell that, but I can pronounce it. Protruding means sticking out. So how gangster is that? Bolts you don't even see are 12 point. Gangster. So I ran into a little problem. Putting on the outer primary, all the other bolts were kind of getting snug. This one was not. I can feel right now, I can feel that it's kind of like there's burrs on the outside, so that means that the threads have probably been pulled. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and put a time cert. To me, that's the best way to repair something like that. Some people put Healy coils. I don't like Healy coils. It's just a coil and they pull out. This is a time cert. So these kits aren't cheap. They're probably $100 or more. This is what you're working with. It's basically like a nut that has threads on the inside as well, or threads on the outside as well. And then it's got a little flange. Inside is kind of, the way it's machined, it's tapered on the inside, so it's kind of small. It's small on this end and thicker on the other side. So what you do is first you gotta drill out the hole. So then you tap the hole with the tap that's provided, and that's the threads for the outside of this little time cert. Then you hit it with this counter bore, and what this is gonna do is it's gonna put a little bit of a counter bore so that the head part, this part of the time cert, it gets flush, and so that it'll be flush with this edge. So that way when you run your finger over there, you'll know it's there, but it won't interfere with gasket sealing surfaces. Then you put, it looks like a tap, but it is not a tap, but you'll put a little bit of oil on there and then it spins on, and it spins on pretty far. It's got the end like a tap. You'll thread it in. Once it bottoms out, you keep spinning it until it goes all the way through, and then it starts getting loose. That's because it's pushing and spreading the bottom part of this threads, and it's locking it into the threads on the external side. So it's locking it in there, and then it just pushes through, and then next thing you know, you run a 1/4 inch. And so these are really good for, like, if you're threading like some aluminum, if you're drilling and tapping some aluminum, but you want it to really hold good, you put a time cert in there and it's gonna lock in there. So that way, like aluminum, you'll pull threads out of aluminum real easily. These are the way to go. There you have it. That's one without the nut cert, and that's one with. Yo, man, look at this hair. I gotta start wearing a hat again. It's just too damn hot. And it sucks because when I record, I turn off the fan so it doesn't make noises, so like crazy. Anyways, dude, I'm so stoked. This is coming out really, really good. So got the primary all back together, got the floorboards back on, shift linkage is connected. It's got all my handprints, which I know he's gonna love. Got the rear wheel back in and everything. Like I said, I put a new belt on. I ordered a new pulley. He's not going to ride it very much for the next month. It's like 4 to 6 weeks. I don't want him riding very much with that pulley because I don't want it to damage a brand new belt. But when if it comes to being a close call, the pulley comes in, boom, he comes in an hour. I have him on his new pulley and he's on his way home and on his trip. So that's why I wanted to hurry up and get the belt in. The wife and kids brought the belt. We got that installed, everything back together, all the covers back on. Look at my gonna go ahead and bloat a little bit, like, oh my god, look at how bad I am. Check out my wheel spacers. It's got fingerprints and everything on it, but man, that looks so much better than that stick that was in there. No spinny spin, just a wheel spacer. Texas to Alaska. It's crazy. All right. We'll pick up later when we get those parts in so I can show you the compression release valve modifications that I do, and we'll go from there. All right, I'll see you. Peace. So I didn't do it on film because I was afraid of failure. But so I ordered these compression release valves because remember I was telling you on this white bike, I wanted to make some extensions to push it so it wouldn't get hot. It claims that it'll take like a regular valve stem cap on top of it, no matter how much I try. Like a valve stem cap, this isn't a cap, but this is the nut that holds the valve stem on. That does not work. I tried other valve stem caps. I have the little crown ones, didn't work. I tried a dice, didn't work. I don't know, TP Engineering has something. Then I went online, come to find out that valve stem caps have a really, really weird thread pattern and pitch and diameter and all that stuff, so I couldn't figure it out. I went on a big old spiral, YouTube forum spiral last night at the house, and I couldn't figure it out. God, it is so hot in here. God bless Texas. So what I did is I lightly, very carefully, chucked this up in my lathe, machined it down. I tried to get 5/16, but the threads were kind of like too small. Like it was wiggly, so I went down to 1/4 28. See the difference? So now I can machine whatever I want, and then I'm just gonna drill it and tap it for 1/4 28. McMaster car. That's where I got this black Delron. So the smallest they had was 7/8, so I'm gonna machine it down, and I'm gonna make custom little knobs that are gonna be pretty tall, so that way when I put this in there, then I screw that little tap on, it's gonna be sticking out, so you can push it down, and even if for some reason something gets in there, like just over time it gets kind of crusty or something like that, and you're out somewhere and it's like and it won't close, you can just reach down there and pull it and it'll close it. But yeah, see, this is black, so I think this with that on the engine, it'll hide out so you won't really see it. So Let's cross our fingers and hope this works. You want to see me do the other one? Come on, let's go. Woo, it's hot. So let me just double check. I believe I machined this down to where it was like 1/4 inch, and then I skimmed it just a tad bit off of that. Maybe that's a lie. So 1/4 inch. I tapped it down to 1/4 inch, and then I put a little 45-degree chamfer on it so that I could do that. Now, you're supposed to machine this down so that it doesn't interfere, so that your cap will go all the way down. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap this, and then I'm just gonna kind of put like a counter bore or like a countersink, like a taper in there, so that it bottoms out. Just because I don't have any tooling right now, and I really want to get this done, but I don't have any tooling that'll small enough to get in there to cut that without damaging stuff. So, and this is really hard because this is a piece that, do you hear it moving? This is a piece that you got to be real careful, because if I crush this, it's not going to work anymore. It won't open and close. So I got to be so careful just to grab it enough, because if I grab it from here, that just spins. So that's not going to work. So that's why I was so scared, and that's why I didn't film it the first time. So watch this. So I took the little crush washer off that most like spark plug things have, and that way I could grab it, because that extended past this. This piece actually is bigger than this nut, so I'm not grabbing it from the nut. I can actually grab it from here. Barely tighten it up, because like I said, I don't want it to mess up. Take our time and just slowly remove threads. .250. 251 is what it's showing after I kind of bumped it a little bit, so sweet. Like I said, now I put a little chamfer on it, a little chamfer. Put some tap-in fluid on it. There you have it. Quarter 28 compression release valve. So what I did is I went ahead and put the compression release valve in. Now I'm going to set this cover on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement from the bottom where it's going to seat all the way to the top here, and that's going to be my bottom portion. And then I will have it so, like I said, it's going to stick up a little taller, but you'll be able to just click it, and then there's the other one right here. See how you have to put your finger in there to turn it on? I want it to be out here, so you just click it down, and then if you have to, you can grab it and pick it up. Good morning. So last night I couldn't work on the buttons because I had to go do a thing with my kiddo at her school, meet the teacher. She's starting middle school this year, so she's kind of nervous because she's gonna have to start switching classes, and her sister's not help very much because she's like doo-doo-doo. So we went last night and had to do that, so I had to cut out early. So this morning, let's go ahead and knock out these compression release valve knobs. Yesterday afternoon, I took some measurements and I kind of drew up what I was looking to do. So got the Delron, got the compression release valve, notes, calipers, my drill, got my tap, ready to go. We're gonna do these quarter 28. That way there's some fine threads on there. Let's get this knob made, test fit it. Let's go. We're gonna fire this bad boy up, set my notes over here. Put a nice face on it first. In your face. Oh yeah, I can live with that. Let's go ahead and thin it out. I want it to be 1/2 inch in diameter. It's 7/8 now, so we're gonna have to take quite a bit off. Let's see where we're at. We've gotten quite a bit off. Close, 540. 500 thou. Oh, it's so soft. So now we are going to tap this. So I got a centering bit, kind of like a drill bit, but it's crazy chunky. And so what you do is it doesn't flex or move around because it's so just a little deal. So you'll spin it and then you just kind of like boop, and then you'll just spot it and it'll set your center point on there, and then I can come back with a drill bit and drill right through. But that's what's going to help me find the center. So it's not, if you grab like with a long drill bit, once it hits there, if it doesn't hit center, it'll go like this until it decides where it wants to put the hole. This is the best way to put the actual center in a round piece like that, or any kind of piece that you're going to drill on here. When you want to find the center, you put one of these in there, and they come in different sizes. This, I believe, is a 1/2 inch, just under, so we're going to drill to about 1/2 inch and then we'll thread. Now I can drill it. I'm going 1/2 inch, and that's just over 1/2 inch. Easy peasy. Soft materials like aluminum and stuff like that, what I can do is I can set this in here, butt it there, put it neutral, pretty much just tap it by hand. I feel tension on there, so that means it's tapped. There we have it. You'll see where this will go, and then it's gonna bottom out here because there's no threads. Remember I told you I didn't have the tool to get in there and thread it. See that little gap there? So what I'm gonna do, take this guy out, put that counter bore. See how this one's kind of got that, it's got the little step for the counter bore. I'm gonna try this, and I'm just gonna turn it by hand. That should be enough. That's the start of a compression release valve knob thingy, majigger. Sweet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run over to the chop saw and I'm gonna chop this off, and then we're gonna flip it over, clean it up, and then we'll put that little head part on it. What we're gonna do now is change the tooling out, and I want a small radius in there, but that's kind of hard to do with like a sharp one. So I have this radius tool. See how it's rounded? So the cutter's rounded. So that's gonna give me my radius that I'm gonna put in there. So here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead here. I'm gonna go to 0.05. Yeah, 0.5. It's gonna give me 100 thousandths. .0500. Now I'm gonna go this way till I touch that line. Then I'll go this way till I touch that line. And I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna round it off so it's not so square looking. There you have it, one extended compression release valve. Threaded to my threads. Nice. Let's go put it on the bike. There they are, the two compression release knobs. You don't have to have a crazy custom bike to have really cool one-off stuff. Let's go ahead and take this new compression release valve out because I didn't put the tightening washer in there, so I gotta put the little crush. I'm gonna go ahead and take the old one out. That's the regular one that was in there before. A little bit of a difference, wouldn't you say? Long reach, that's what I'll call it. The long reach compression release valve. It's been a crazy week, a lot of quotes and a lot of running around and going and doing different things. So this whole week has kind of just been focused around this bike, getting it done for him and ordering the parts and seeing when we could get it done because he's got that big trip in September. So, but I will show you a couple of things today that I'll be working on next week. Actually, next week I'll be taking off from recording because I got to do some stuff I don't think you guys really want to see on this channel. The sign video didn't do well at all, so I think I'm gonna skip doing those. I'm gonna probably just keep it to fabrication stuff as far as like motorcycles and cars and stuff. But I gotta build a podium for my brother. So next week I'll probably be taking off because I'll be ordering some parts and stuff like that. But so that's it installed. Now you might be asking why this one's black. I painted that one with the Harley paint to match, so that way when you look in that hole, you won't see a big silver block like that. So that's why that one's black and that one's black next to that. So when I put the cover on from the side, this one still has material here, so you can't see the silver piece. But when you go that way, you could possibly see the silver piece. And I'm telling you, I like details. I didn't want to see that silver piece, so that's why I painted that one black. So that's what it's going to look like. So now he can just touch it, and if he needs to close it manually, he can. But from about here, can't even tell. It's even there. So, trick. That could not have come out any more trick. I like it. And there you have it. Custom extended reach compression release valve, cool to the touch. See how the diamond cut, like usually it would stop and this one has the show cut, so it goes all the way to the back side, but this just brings it out and just makes that cylinder look beefy. I just think it looks sick like that. It's just all cylinder, no spark plug showing, no head bolts. You don't have head bolts, you don't have to put head bolt covers. This bike used to have head bolt covers that you'd have to put with 3 Allen or 2 Allen nuts and stuff. It's just so much clean, just wham. Love it, I love it. So cool. So cool. All right, let's throw some fluids in this thing and get it off the rack. Let me put the belt covers and stuff on. You don't need to see all that. You don't need to see the oils going in and the oil change. So I got to clean it all up. I got my handprints all over this thing, but let me get it all cleaned up and we'll get it back together. Oh, I got to put some clamps on the exhaust pipes. I had them sitting over there, so I have to put some exhaust clamps on the pipes, new ones, stainless steel. Heavy duty vibration dampening, blah, 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 blah. So, yep, that's it, people. It's back. It's not a complete build. I didn't build this bike. Eddie Trotta built it. I'm rebuilding the bike. Thank you, Gary Queen. You did a great job, buddy. It looks freaking perfect. He fixed little cracks and all of that stuff, so it's all done. How he does this without anybody knowing, your guess is as good as mine. It came out flawless. It's all smooth. So, thanks, Gary, and more on this on the next episode.